You're listening to the Agency Podcast. Marketing strategies for professionals and business owners. Learn from two industry experts who work on the front lines of digital advertising and find out how their agency generates millions of dollars in revenue for their clients. From industry news and trends to practical advice, discover the tools to grow your business online. Here are your hosts, Ryan Leach and James Crittenden, owners of FreshMove Media.
And we are live.
We're live?
Yes, we are.
All right. Welcome to the Agency Podcast, our very first episode, where we will be discussing marketing strategies and advice for marketing professionals
For people.
and people, business owners, right?
Did you have to read that off your laptop?
No.
Okay.
Should I have?
No.
Maybe I should have. It would have been better if I did. There's, as you can tell, we are surrounded by all this fancy equipment that Ryan has decided we need.
Very expensive equipment.
Yes, very expensive. And I don't even know what camera to look at here. It's like,
Don't.
I'll just like alternate like a turret like this.
No, you're supposed
No.
to look at me.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the goal.
All right. Well, hey, we are excited to share some of our experience in the industry. And actually, to get started, why don't we talk a little about ourselves here? Let's not take too long on that because that's not what this is about, but let's talk about us for a second. So why don't you share a little bit about you and your experience, Ryan?
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ryan. I have been an entrepreneur for the past 10 years. And lately, I would say the past 4 to 5 years have been more of my successful as far as businesses go. At a time, I used to have 4 businesses that are running at the same time, which I do not highly recommend.
Serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, the term serial entrepreneur. It's very stressful. I don't recommend putting that on anyone. But I had a bottle company. We made insulated tumblers. Started that in 2015. Did over $1 million in sales in about 2.5 years. Sold that business last year, which I thought was great timing considering the current frame market. Trying to sell a business now will be a little bit different than it was back in September.
Yep.
Another business called Lux Metal Card that I'm fairly certain you guys will hear a lot more on this podcast. And then, of course, FreshMove Media with you. So.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. My history started in direct sales right out of high school, all through college. Did that for over a decade, actually. Was in sales management, recruiting, training sales reps for a lot of years. And I loved it. Loved the idea of teaching and training and motivating. But I decided I wanted to pivot. I reached the age of 30. I went through like that over that hump.
Speaking of 30,
Yeah.
I just turned 30.
Somebody here yesterday. How's it feel?
I still feel like I'm 24 age-wise.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
I'll tell you, man, I woke up with back problems and knee problems, and it was a mess. I decided at the age of 30 I was going to pivot, change careers, and I came to Ryan with an idea to start FreshMove Media, and the premise being we wanted to help support small businesses in their efforts to get out there in the digital space, market their businesses, get attention, and ultimately attract buying customers. So Ryan and I, having both had the experience in the sales business, we thought it was an area that we could pivot to that was exciting for us and we could provide a lot of value. So it's been an adventure from when we first started, right? We were in that tiny little co-working office, and I was backseat driving, sitting right behind Ryan while we were building our first website.
Co-working is great to a point. If you're a new startup and you have like 2 employees, or you're just one person and you need to get away from the house, it is 100% worth it. Paying the extra money. Yes, it's cheaper. You can work from home by saving money doing it that way. But going to a place, you're just a lot more productive. You're around more productive people. Highly recommend it. But it gets to a point where you outgrow the space and tensions can flare up because you're such in a tight bit spot.
Yeah. I think, by the way, I think this podcast is going to be great because the two of us are very different people.
Absolutely,
in
we are.
almost every way. And so I think there'll be some spirited discussions here, which will be great. So yeah, we were at each other's throats a little bit until we were able to move into our own space. A year and a half ago at this point?
Yes,
spring of 2018, right? And that's our current office space. It's worked great for us, and we've now have a team of 7 helping businesses with their digital footprint. So. And then Ryan and I both are co-owners on Lux Metal, as he mentioned, and that business has taken off as well, working with some pretty big brands, which is exciting.
Yeah, big name brands,
Yeah.
Lexus, Toyota, Notre Dame, University of Alabama, Quicken, Porsche.
Yep.
Those are to name the few.
That's a fun business. That's cool. That business is great because people get the cards and they're like, what?
Absolutely.
They're blown away.
It's a statement for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So,
Just to give you a little bit more rundown about FreshMove as far as all the stuff that we offer. We do website design, website development, Google ad management. So those are pay-per-click campaigns, social media marketing management from Facebook, LinkedIn, to Instagram, to Snapchat if your business is relevant on that platform, TikTok if you really needed it, Nextdoor, et cetera, graphic design, film production, and other aspects as far as marketing, from email to print, if that's something you wanted. So we pretty much span everything as far as marketing, but everything we do is focused on the digital aspect.
Yep. And, it's a lot of fun working, collaborating with the clients we get to work with. So we've worked with everyone from community bank to trade companies, electricians, plumbers, cleaning companies, all different industry types. And so it's been a lot of fun learning about the businesses we work with, and then helping them get out there. So
yeah, both B2C and B2B businesses, we don't focus on a niche. Like other marketing companies, they tend to focus on one service. The problem is when you focus on one service, all your marketing tends to be the same, and it's very dull and very boring.
Yep.
Versus, there is more revenue on the short term for that, but you have high turnover. And having high turnover, you have to continue to have a sales force that brings in the business, because if you don't have that, eventually you're going to run out. Because a plumber comes in, marketing for $99 a month, that's great.
Yeah.
And then they realize that what they're getting is dog shit.
Yep.
As far as from return on investment.
Yep.
Versus we spend more time per client, but the marketing is far superior and actually brings in revenue.
Unique, custom, stands out.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
even if we did marketing and we had 2 plumbers as clients, the marketing difference from each plumber would be drastically different, because every business, the marketing is tailored to that business and their tone of voice and how they operate.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Well, let's dive into the nuts and bolts of what we want to cover today. So something's happened the last couple weeks. I don't know
if you hadn't
guys
noticed.
have heard. Yeah, there's a lot happening. Pandemic of sorts. I saw some meme about millennials living through the last recession and now this one, and the craziness of both. And it's been quite an adventure, no doubt, in the last couple decades, but unprecedented what's happening right now. We want to talk a little bit about marketing during this period of time. I know you have some thoughts to share on your perspectives when it comes to, should businesses be cutting back, what they should be doing when it comes to marketing. What are your thoughts on that, Ryan?
Yeah, the problem with downtimes, recessions, is fear plays into a lot of aspects of the way a business operates. And the wrong thing to do, and it was a clear example back in 2008, 2009 with the housing crisis, is that a lot of businesses scaled back on marketing, and there were a lot of very small amount of businesses that either stayed the course or doubled down on their marketing efforts. And when you do that, when everyone else is scaling back but you're doubling down, your image is just going to be seen more and more often. You're going to have that omnipresence. Plus your cost per view essentially is going to go down because all the money's leaving the market. Those businesses were the ones that were cleaning house when the market shot right back up because they had that brand presence, versus the ones that scaled back out of fear, either died out or they struggled for a lot longer time till the economy got back.
Yep.
And there were businesses waiting, okay, if things seem to be back like normal, let's put our money back in. You're already way behind.
Yep.
Clear example of real estate agents. The real estate agents that were killing it these past couple years are the ones who were killing it, who were at least pushing the marketing envelope in 2008, 2009.
Yep.
And to the same people who are doing it now, the reason why businesses are failing now, yes, I understand there's the stay-at-home order, but the reasons why certain restaurants would close down almost like 2 or 3 days right out of the gate, all that told me is you had bad marketing from the start.
Yep.
You were barely hanging on when the economy is great, and then when the economy goes to dog shit,
yep,
and then you're out 2 days, 3 days later,
yep,
you didn't have good marketing.
Yep.
Because you don't have the sales coming in still. Yes, you can still deliver. Their sales aren't as great, but the restaurants that are still around that have that brand recognition of people to continue to remember them and continue to advertise are the ones who still get in business.
Yep.
So.
Well, and one way to think about this, right, is as things have declined and as there's uncertainty and what's going to happen in the future, the number one reason any small business fails, good economies or bad, is obscurity. People don't know you exist.
Right.
And if people don't know you exist, they can't buy your product, they can't buy your service. We were even talking about how, applying for this PPP loan, which was an adventure, but we got it taken care of. But I'm sure that'll come up at some point in one of these podcasts. But when we applied for it, one of the first things it talks about is this is to be used, one, to help payroll, right, and keep employees, and then two, to advertise and market your business. So
it literally says that on the SBA website.
Yeah, so that way you stay in business, right? And
let your clients know that you still exist.
Yep.
And because if people aren't going out, then they're not driving by and seeing your location so they're going to see you.
Yeah, signage is become less relevant now, certainly, right? So
the worst thing you can do is nothing.
Yep.
And the thing I can say from our experience over the past 2 weeks is that what we did for every one of our current clients for marketing, we pivoted immediately.
Yep.
We adjusted all the timelines, all the work, all the copy. It was all hands on deck for essentially 2 weeks to adjust to this marketing effort. The worst thing to have done is done nothing, or will wait. And I know a lot of businesses are just waiting because they weren't marketing before. Like, okay, maybe I should hold off now. I'm not going to spend any money. I want to save as much. But, that's just as bad as doing nothing as well. So waiting, don't.
Yep. Got to do something.
Whether you use us or you find another company or do it yourself, you got to do something.
Yep. On that note, one of the things I've been sharing with all our clients, and as we've adjusted strategy, our team has talked a ton about internally, is 3 ways to pivot your messaging right now to make sure that you're adjusting to the current reality, right? And good marketing is always about meeting people where they are, right? Both physically and mentally, right? And so physically, a lot of people are home, right? And that's the reality of our work schedule too. I mean, our team is working remotely from home. That's what a lot of people who are able to do that are doing, except for essential workers, that sort of thing. But I mean, that's the reality of where people are. And so the messaging needs to convey that. And you have to understand that people have uncertainty, they're nervous, levels of stress and anxiety are higher than they've ever been before. So all of your business's marketing has to align with that and respond to that. So what we've talked about is 3 main things. Number 1, certainty, providing certainty when there's uncertainty out there. And so there's a lot of ways to do this, right? One is precautions we're taking. Hey, what are the precautions the business is taking with everything that's happening? And so one of our first lines of verbiage that we got out there for all our clients was, hey, here's what we're doing in response to all this. And that was a responsible thing to do, right?
And it made more sense to do that as a Facebook post or a video recording versus, in my opinion, just doing the boring thing and send an email.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what everyone did.
Oh, yeah.
It's just sending email.
Yeah.
And I unsubscribed to so many of those.
Yeah, everybody was sending those. In my opinion, those were like legal cause, right? Those were like, oh, we're going to get this in writing that something's happening. But
versus the businesses that made a Facebook post or did a video and posted on Facebook as far as what they're doing, those actually got interaction and people liked it. Versus when you send an email, unsubscribe.
Yeah, totally. Yep.
So the problem is that people still resort to old ways. Not saying that email is irrelevant, but when it comes to announcement on that level, you want to get down to the personal, almost the one-on-one conversation aspect.
Open a space for people to engage. And,
exactly. And that's the businesses that succeeded with that are the ones who didn't just send an email. They also made a post. On social.
And so that's the first place to start. But that if you just do that, that's not enough, right? Because what that's going to do is, sure, it provides some certainty, but everybody's doing it, right? So that's kind of the first level. The second path we then took with clients was community giving back or significance in the community. What are you doing?
Cause marketing.
Yeah. What are you doing as a business to support the community through a time where it's devastating for a lot of people, right? And we look at it as business owners. I mean, obviously, as individuals, there's a lot of threats out there and challenges in this. But as business owners, I mean, business owners are always fighting for survival. And so you throw a wrench like this into it, and it's like crazy stressful. And it's like, are we going to be able to keep our employees? Are we going to be able to keep payroll going? Are we going to survive all of this? So,
right.
So, one of the ways that a number of our clients had decided to support was the restaurant industry, right? Buying gift cards, giving them out as part of their service, buying their service or product. We had one client decide to feature different small businesses in the area and talk through like, hey, these are some small businesses you can still support in this time. Here are some ways you can support them. Profiling different businesses they're partnering with.
By the way, his video reached over 11,000 people in a span of 4 days.
One of our clients, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the restaurant one.
Yep.
And it got a ton of shares and a ton of comments.
Yep.
Because Richmond is huge on the restaurant community and know about that support. So, doing something like that made sense and it went viral.
That's big.
I even created more work for myself with the surgical face masks.
Yeah. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, we have some. Actually, let me just say the third one real quick, right?
Oh, that's right.
So number 3, Ryan's good at that, getting me off topic here. So the third one is unique services that you're offering that people can still take advantage of, even with the current climate, right? Whether that be delivery or pickup or whether that be something unique people can do from their home. Obviously e-commerce businesses, but even if it's something that they can still engage with at home, one of our a custom home builder we work with, they have virtual tours and we've set that up through their website. So it allows us to run ads still. And I'll tell you, the ads are getting more traction than we've ever seen before. I mean, the cost per engagement is down. The cost per landing page view is down.
Also, internet traffic is up 35%.
It's huge.
Because everyone's home.
Yep. And I mean, it's like everyone is on social and everyone is on Google right now. So, if we weren't doing those sort of things, they would be missing a huge opportunity, as you said, to continue to capture brand awareness. And the businesses in this downturn that continue to advertise will come out of it with more market share than they went into it with.
Right.
And it's because their competitors a lot of times will cut back and they'll fade into obscurity. Right.
Yeah, the businesses, and another thing is when you do come back or when the economy comes back, it's a sad thing to say, but some of your competition is now gone.
Yeah.
But you still have to market to that competition's base as well to get them to come to you. Just because your competition goes away doesn't mean they're going to come to you organically. Just you can't assume, oh, that company's now a business. Now they're all going to come to me.
Yeah.
maybe not.
There's still
More-
choice out there. A lot of people still have options. So.
And then there's going to be more opportunity. So people who've been sitting on the sidelines with a ton of cash to start a business, and now they see all these competitors go out of business. Now's the right time to start a business because everyone's gone. So now you always have competition, but to be ahead of the curve when everyone else is scaling back. So like the recent client we just signed, a printing company, when it comes to advertising on Google, there are no local shops doing it. It's all Office Depot, Office Max, or some major brand that is not local whatsoever doing advertising across all of the United States.
Yep.
But when someone wants that local aspect, support local, and when we compete on the local level, they're going to clean house because
big win.
There's no one else other than Office Max or Office Depot. Or can you make house calls? I know Office Max will do that, or Office Depot, whoever the hell they're called now, will do that for businesses, but I don't know if they do that residential.
I don't know. I don't even know how they still have stores. You go in there, it's always empty. How did they afford that? It's got to be a loss leader. There's no way they're making money.
Well, when you realize what they charge on printing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, come on. Like, it's all that online business, I guess they're getting, and business. But
could be, but besides the point is that from a local aspect, you can easily clean house from a marketing perspective. And out of all these platforms, number one, that's going to people think, oh, it's going to be social media. Yes, social media is up there. But number one, it's Google Ads.
Oh, yeah.
The first place that everyone goes, they're trying to find a product or a service or a product that's out of stock. Yes, some people might ask on Facebook, hey, does anyone know this? But majority of the time, they're going to do their own research. They're going to go to Google. Where can I buy this?
Yep.
Where is this? How can I buy this online?
Yep.
And having an ad targeting those specific keywords is a great way to drive traffic to your site.
Yep.
For example, I just bought baking powder because I could not find it anywhere in Kroger, Food Lion, or Amazon. Is sold out.
So people talk about the TP, but like this is like a run on baking powder.
Because everyone's cooking at home. I was like, I want to try this one recipe, baking powder. Sold out everywhere. So I typed in baking powder into Google.
Yeah.
And a few ads show up. And I bought this baking powder. It's baking powder from some company in fucking Alabama.
That's so stereotypically millennial of you, right? To say, I'm going to buy baking powder from Google.
So, well, I went to Kroger first. I went to all of the stores. No one had any.
Yep.
It was all gone. Like you would think of all things of that would be gone, be baking powder. Amazon sold out.
Yep.
So I bought from a company that had an ad. I clicked on it, and I spent like $15 on baking powder. It's usually like $2-3 at the store, but now I have baking powder on its way. So that's the point.
Yep.
That company, who I've never heard of before, who probably never would have received business from me because they had an ad going.
Yep.
They have stock, and it's shipping. It's
great.
again, it's smart for the company to do advertising like that because now they can expand and get more clients and probably even repeat business that they didn't have before. So 100% Google Ads for any business. I don't care if you're just B2B, we don't need to do Google, blah, blah, blah. No. Google is 100% makes sense on any business. It's a great way to get instant return on investment within a week at least. It's not guaranteed, but my business, Lux Metal Card, 100%, not 100%, but more like 95% of its revenue comes from Google Ads.
Yep.
The order from Lexus came from a Google ad. Guy was looking around as far as other shops, and he liked my presentation better, and that was a $100,000 order, essentially all said and done. Yep. And now they want to buy another one. Yep. Another batch of $100,000.
Good thing we had an ad running.
It's a good thing I spent the dollar for the click. Again, I spend $50 a day, but I think that pays for itself, right? Yeah. You look at it. Or like how our contractor or client up in Northern Virginia got like 2 or 3 jobs. Yep. And I think one of them was $250,000, right? That pays for his marketing and then some. Yeah. But the problem is people look at they look at the minute detail like, oh, it's spending $2,000 a month on ads. How much revenue can you generate from that $2,000 that you just spent? Yeah. It just depends on the business.
Yeah. And I mean, if you consider what people used to spend in ad budgets on TV and radio and print, like the digital space, the dollars just stretch so much further. I
Right.
We really do.
And even more so as that 80 to 90 billion dollars that's spent every year on television advertising, as that flows more into Facebook and into Google, your cost per view is going to skyrocket.
Oh, yeah.
So Facebook 5 years ago was cheaper than it is now. It's still cheap, but that's not going to be the case in the next 5+ years. That's why, as much as I don't like Facebook, but with Facebook stock, I can see that still rising. And they're a profitable business. If all these other digital marketing companies, other than like Google and Facebook, unlike Snapchat, who it's just a money pit, or even probably like TikTok, because I can only imagine how low ad revenue compared to Facebook they're getting. But like Snapchat hasn't been able to fix that money hole problem with advertisers, and I don't see that platform lasting much longer. Same thing with Twitter. Yes, they do have advertisers, but that platform has been ruined by advertisers. So now it's just for politics and sports. So that's my thought on that one.
Yeah. So earlier you were cutting me off and you were saying something. And
like always.
Seemed like it was important. Everything that comes out of your mind is important, right, Ryan?
Absolutely.
The most important thing in the world needs to be said in this moment.
Because if I don't say it, I'll forget it.
So, do you remember what it was?
Nope.
Did you forget it? You forgot it.
I forgot it.
We'll come back to it.
Oh, no, it was about the surgical mask.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, this is actually totally worth a plug because it's a really noble cause and it's pretty cool.
Well, it's the cause marketing we were talking about. And you have noticed there are a lot of businesses that are propping up other businesses, which is great. Our manufacturer for the metal cards obviously is overseas in China. I've been dealing with this coronavirus bullshit since January. They sent me and all our employees surgical face masks for us to have personally. I didn't ask for it. They just sent it. I said, thank you. I appreciate the gesture. And then we don't need them because my employees should not be out and about, at the river. Should be working from home. I posted on Facebook, who do you know that needs surgical masks? And then in a span of like 10 to 15 minutes, that thread just exploded. And then I got messages and inbox messages asking, hey, do you still have these? Do you still have these? I only had 20. And I was like, shit, I feel bad for not being able to. I'm not going to divvy up 20 face masks. All right, you get two to like a hospital. You get 2, you get 3. So one person who works for a hospital in Mechanicsville reached out, and I was like, all right, I'll give the 20 to her. And then I'll ask the manufacturer if they can help us source these masks, because I don't feel like going through the whole process to try to find a legitimate supplier and to import that from the States. So they gave me a price, and they said they weren't charging any margin on top of it, which just to help us out. And then I made a Facebook fundraiser saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. I feel like these doctors and nurses shouldn't have to use homemade ones or use the same one over and over again.
Or a bandana or something,
Yeah, donate money. Yep. I can get these at 75 cents a pop from China, which is still pretty good because it's hard to get any of those made here in the States.
And then we wanted to make sure they were legit, and they actually come in nice medical sealed packaging.
They are legit. So, but the biggest thing, I was only expecting like $200 maybe to be raised. 7 days later, $5,000 raised. Pretty cool. I bought 1,000 personally from as a gesture from Lux Metal Card, and then with the other money we raised, we were able to buy 5,000 masks and 200K N95 masks, and those are going to hospitals all over the place. So like Henrico Doctors even reached out. Someone at VCU emergency, I forget what their center is called, but emergency services, he got an email from them asking for stuff like that. Because the homemade stuff is great, but a lot of the times they don't even use those because they have to like wash them every single time. So they might tend to use those maybe for a patient or someone else. But when it comes to doctors and nurses, they have to use this. And then after one patient, they're done. They have to throw it away. So having 5,000 to give those out is very
make a difference.
But here's the shit thing about it is that the U.S. Customs is confiscating a lot of these shipments. So, and I actually just found out last night that they're not going to send all 5,000 in one box. They're sending 5 separate shipments of 1,000 each to avoid
to keep it under the limit.
to keep it under a certain size box to make it seem like, oh, this is not a huge surgical face mask shipment. Because actually on the invoice it doesn't say face masks. It says
really?
metal cards.
So they're still shipping it that way.
So
it's good. We get
it sucks, but that's how the product is coming in, and that's how I've been able. Like I ordered this the first 1,000 like a week and a half ago, and it arrived 5 days later, and we've already handed out the majority of them already. But it's the next 5,000 coming in are going to come over a span of a few days.
Yep.
But it's just a kind of a bullshit reason for why it has to be done that way. But it's nothing new. I've imported literally millions of dollars worth of, from a retail standpoint, millions of dollars worth of product from China over the past 5 years. I've wired so much money over there. I've spoken to someone from China at least one time, once a day for the past 5 years.
Yep.
So
I'm really glad we're able to leverage our connections there, do some good here locally.
Oh, I can import anything from China. You name it, I can find someone. As long as it's legal.
That's right. Okay. We any other thoughts we want to share when it comes to marketing right now in the climate we're in?
I mean, the biggest thing is the worst thing to do is to not do anything.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of businesses doing that. And sometimes they even take the very laid back approach. They do something, that they post something on Facebook and they boost it for $5 or whatever. That's not what I mean by marketing correctly.
Yeah.
You're doing extensive outreach and going above and beyond. Whether you do that yourself, you learn on YouTube, or you find a marketing freelancer or a company agency like ourselves, or if you're a bigger company like Verizon, for example, to then find another larger size marketing firm to handle your stuff.
Yep.
But I still see a ton of businesses not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just because they're playing from the aspect of fear. I'm not that you should spend thousands upon thousands of dollars in marketing, but you need to be doing something.
Yeah. Yep.
Because to do nothing is a death sentence.
Yep.
So
and the other thing to consider is on all these different platforms, the overall ad dollars have decreased, which means your ad spend goes further. It's all a bidding system, right? So, I mean, the bidding process of making sure that you're showing up at the top of Google in search through Google Ads, with less people running ads, you have a better opportunity to show up for less money. And so not taking advantage of that is crazy in our mind.
And on top of that, if you've been advertising with Google since the start of January 2019, they're giving out $340 million in ad credits to the people that are still advertising with them right now.
Yep.
And that's huge for a lot of advertisers. So
we're going to share that link for how people.
Yeah, I'll share the link in the show notes.
Yep.
But you have to have had an account and had to been actively advertising in 2019. It's not like you can set up an account now and expect free dollars.
Yep.
It's just like the same with the PPP loan. You have to be in a business, you have to have employees, and they go off the 2019 standards. But it's smart for Google to do this. I don't know how they came up with that $340 million in ad spend, because it literally cost them nothing if you think about it.
They're just offering it for free.
It doesn't cost them anything. It's like, okay, we just add this digital credit to you that you can use. But which is great, because I know Lux Metal Card's going to get that because it's been advertising since 2019.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a really positive note to businesses that were marketing and they continue marketing with that.
Yep.
So,
well, that's good. We'll share that link for how to apply for that. I was looking at another article I thought was interesting.
Oh no, you don't even apply for it. They just give it to you.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They make the decision.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
Cool.
I saw another article that was interesting, is talking about Facebook's usage right now is off the charts. They're seeing, this is interesting, total messaging on Facebook has increased by 50%. It is like huge, right? And then video calling through Facebook has doubled in some markets.
I have only used video as a phone call.
Who uses that?
Twice.
I guess people use it. So bottom line is, the usage on Facebook is through the roof, and what's interesting about it is ad spend is still down. So Facebook is still a little bit worried. It's doing better than a lot of other businesses, certainly. Not as well as Amazon, right? But it's doing better than a lot of other businesses. But their ad spend is still down, which means that your dollars now stretch further. You just have less competitors. And if you haven't noticed this already, every third piece of content on Facebook is an ad, right? So scrolling down, it's like every three, there's an ad.
Ones I hate are the in-stream ads.
Yeah.
If you can prevent that, that doesn't piss off the person in the middle of the video.
Yeah.
I once had an ad.
Is that like the right moment in the video?
Right. Yeah. It's actually, I think their algorithm has gotten a lot better to notice that, as far as interaction from stuff.
Yep.
But the one thing I've noticed once, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but it did happen quite a bit, where an ad would be playing, and then another ad would come up within the ad. It would interrupt that ad.
Ad inception.
Yeah. So it's like
an ad within an ad.
I think their algorithm is just messed up, but it's just like, wait, what's going on?
We're stopping this video to show you another ad.
Yeah. But yeah, they've gotten good with the ads and the in-stream videos as far as stopping right at the pivotal moment when you're about to find something really exciting, so you stay on to watch that video. But 100%, it makes sense for that platform to do that.
Yep, no doubt. So, you know what? Something that's been swiffering the nation?
Other than the virus?
Other than the virus. Tiger King.
Oh,
it's Tiger King show. Have you seen this yet?
Absolutely. I waited the longest time.
I was giving you a hard time for a while. I was like, get down in the gutter with us and watch this show because it's outrageous.
It is outrageous. It feels like I was watching like a 90s episode of like Cops or something. It's just the way of how ridiculous some of the stuff was. But it has got, from a marketing standpoint, I will say,
they timed it right, man.
They timed it right.
Yep.
It could not have come at a better time. It is the most outlandish topic, if you think about it, and just outrageous group of people. Again, they're all from Florida. Nothing against people in Florida, but it made 100% sense that, they're from Florida? Oh, okay. That makes sense. Like you have the whole
Florida man.
Like you type in your name and then Florida, it always comes with some ridiculous, crazy crime story or
Florida man on this day.
Yeah, on this day. Suck down a golf ball or something. I don't know, it's just something ridiculous. It always comes out of Florida.
Yep.
So it did not surprise me whatsoever. But from an editing standpoint, and the amount of content they got over, was it 5 years?
Yeah, it was a lot of years. I don't know.
To dedicate that much time to one company and to go all about that is impressive. So
I mean the director and the producers of the documentary itself, right? I know there were producers within producers, right? Because there was a producer who was doing that reality show while the documentary was being filmed. So that was like crazy. But, not to spoil anything, but the directors did an incredible job with editing that. Like when they first meet Doc down in, what's he in, North Carolina, South Carolina or something? And Doc is telling him how they should shoot the shot. He's like, no, you guys should come around to the front and I'll open up the door and we ring the doorbell. And I loved how they left all of that in.
Of course they did.
Oh, so great. They're like, this guy's a better director than me. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and they framed it in such a, from a storytelling standpoint, it was edited in such a way that kept you hooked into the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, what the hell am I watching?
Episode 3 and 4, I thought was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen on TV. Like, I can't even describe, and I'm not going to say anything. You just need to see it, but wow.
The question stands is, did Carol Baskins kill her husband?
Yeah. Well, they reopened the case.
Good, because I believe she did. It's just everything she did as far as from the paperwork standpoint, having in the case of disappearance, which usually doesn't exist, or the fact that the day 5 years later, since it was a disappearance, you have to wait 5 years. The first day, like clockwork.
Yeah.
Probably had it in the Google Calendar with alerts saying like, all right, submit this, and because she got millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I,
OJ weighed in on it. You
right.
saw that meme?
if OJ thinks you killed someone,
then that's it.
Then you probably
It's decided.
It's like it said that saw somewhere that if even flat earthers agree or think that Carol Baskins killed her husband, there's enough evidence
Yeah.
that flat earthers believe that Carol Baskins did it. So.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
If you've won that crowd, right?
If you convince that crowd, then you definitely did it. So.
Oh man, a lot of conspiracies flying around, but I will say that show is definitely worth the watch, and just the most outrageous thing I've ever seen. And by the way, and I will say, there's nothing redeeming about almost any of the characters, because like they are terrible people. Like, there's very few characters in there that are actually like decent human beings. But
I have no sympathy for Joe.
You know what? Yeah, no. And here's the thing: it's gonna, if nothing else, it'll at least make you feel better about yourself and your life, because it is so terrible. So it gives us perspective, is what it does.
Yes, it does. In hard times,
oh my gosh.
watching crazy people will do that.
Need perspective. Oh, wow.
Now, there's something I do want to do on this podcast.
What's that?
And it's our meme review.
Oh, yeah. The
So,
highlight.
folks, this is what we're going to do on every episode, is since memes dictate a lot of things nowadays as far as the way someone consumes information.
Yep.
And a lot of people either share a meme, even though that meme could be taken out of context on so many different levels.
Yep.
But memes tend to see as what keeping people entertained.
Oh, and we are in a golden age of
meme culture.
I mean, this is it. This is like, it doesn't get any better than what we've seen in the last few years. I mean, there are people all day, every day, and this is all they're doing is memes.
Or meme creation.
Yes, like they just make memes from beginning to end. And actually, there are some people that I've kept friends with on Facebook just because they're sharing memes that are gold all the time.
I'm trying to where the meme, where did that come from as far as the meaning?
The word itself?
Yeah, like
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, people just adopted the meme. I mean, meme in American English is a unit of cultural information as a concept, belief, or practice that spreads from person to person.
Interesting. What is that, Urban Dictionary? Is that like
Google?
Google defines it.
Apparently, meme was coined by R. Dawkins. He's still alive. He's a British biologist.
Interesting.
So that's a topic for another day. But the idea is that we each bring a meme that we find hilarious, and then we judge that meme and then rate it on a score of 1 to 10 on whatever level you think of how effective and hilarious the meme is. So obviously we'll share these on the show notes so people can see them, but these are our favorite memes. So, and we also made a cheesy intro for that. Here you go. Okay, so let's start with your meme.
I love this one.
Can't hide now. We know. Are those the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yes, that is, yes. And I think it's very true, hence funny.
Absolutely.
Because it's true. So
I'm still not going to answer the door, though.
It's just simple and not overly complicated. Sometimes you need memes like that. You don't listen. I love a good meme that's like a meme within a meme that's within a meme. But man, you got to know the whole backstory of the meme. This is great because it's just simple, straight to the point. Everybody understands this imagery.
They should change their script and say that out loud from outside.
That's right.
I know you're home.
Know you're home.
Well, I'm sure if you open the door and start coughing and sneezing, they would probably run away.
That's right. That's right.
So that's how you get rid of solicitors.
Yep.
All right. This is mine.
All right. I think I'm ready to date again. The universe. Oh, yeah? Releases worldwide virus preventing all human interaction. Well played.
That is my life in a nutshell as far as going right now.
Yes,
Wait.
absolutely.
Like, you think about it, dating apps usage have skyrocketed over this time because you're at home and all you could do is communicate. So, like, I mean, as far as first date, what do? Zoom, Skype?
I know. I don't know.
FaceTime?
I was messaging on one of those apps the other day, and I realized I had let a conversation kind of like fizzle out for a day or two here, right? And I was like, you know what? There's no excuse. I have nothing to say. I'm home, right? It's like there's no reason why I should let this fizzle out. So that was my answer. I said, hey, I can't let this fizzle out. And actually, I was about to message, and they automatically extended the chat for me. They're like, hey, because of this situation, we're giving you a free extension or whatever. I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Good.
So, I mean, there are businesses that are brilliantly cleaning house when it comes from a business standpoint.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
From
Zoom.
Yeah. Now, that stock will tumble and drop when things get back to normal and people start using it less.
It'll be overinflated, but yeah.
It is.
But you know what? Here's the thing. All these free users are adding. The amount of opportunity they have for upgrading to premium, I mean, the user adoption is crazy. I mean, I think they're going to have huge market share when this is all over with.
Right.
So,
but yeah, that is not the time to invest into that because that time is now gone. But yeah,
are we going to give an opportunity for people to vote on this?
Yeah, on the website you'll be able to vote thumbs up, thumbs down, or vote it like which out of the two are the better memes.
You know, I was explaining to my mom how to read memes the other day.
How do you explain how to read memes?
It's not easy to explain. It's kind of just like you just have to like know it, right? And so I was trying to explain like the evolution of like, okay, this is what you look at, and this is how you read the meme.
Start with the top left. And
yeah, it was a challenge. She'll get there though. She adapts.
One thing is I've noticed a lot of funny T-shirt pop-ups on ads as far as on my Facebook. Like I bought the T-shirt that says "Quarantine and Chill."
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta have that T-shirt. It's a good one. And then I was wearing it the other day when I was out and about dropping packages off. I had like 4 people tell me, "That's a great shirt. Where'd you get it?" I was like, "Why didn't I think of this?" So, but
yeah. Actually, we've also been as a team internally here. We've been working on our Zoom backgrounds, right? Making sure that those are interesting and engaging.
For BNI this morning, I had this as my background. I had Tiger King wallpaper, and I had
oh my gosh,
I had that as my background. This was my background for the first one.
Oh my gosh, so ridiculous. Oh man. I was a little nervous when you typed that into Google. It was going to come up, but that's not bad. That's pretty harmless.
Other than Tiger King, I mean, another thing that has exploded as far as users is Call of Duty. I know you don't play it, but
yeah, I'm not into that scene, but it's big, huh?
Release of Call of Duty Warzone. It's a free game. You can still pay for the game, but they have this free aspect that you can play, and it's 150 players cross-platform. All at one time. It is intense, and I've put in hours, if not days.
Their servers are holding up? Is that?
They are, and here's the problem, is they are using shitty servers, so that it does lag a lot more often than you'd like to, but when you go from like...
So it's like being back in the early 2000s again, with lagging games.
It is, but it is 30 million people playing the video game.
Yeah,
so, if you have a lot of time on your hand... and you want to play Xbox or PlayStation or your computer, and it's free, or keep your kids quiet, have them play Call of Duty.
There you go.
So,
well, I can't speak to that, but I can speak to the fact that sports have been gone, and I've been freaking out. So I spent a lot of time last week watching Masters replay on ESPN and CBS. And for those who don't know, the Masters is, for a lot of people who watch golf, the Super Bowl of the year. And not having the Masters this year was, stressful. But we got through it. And we watched the 86 Masters, which once you get past the lack of production value, right, because it's from 1986, was incredible. Like, was so awesome to watch. I think I spent 4 hours watching it, and I couldn't look away. It was amazing. So,
I did not watch the Masters, nor did I watch golf. So.
Well, it's that's how desperate we are. We're going back 30 years for. Oh, that's a great one, by the way. Bad Boys.
Bad Boys, that was great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But that's all we have for today's episode, folks. So
hopefully we were mildly entertaining, offered a little bit of value.
Quick tips, and we'll have more next week.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Thanks for tuning in. Like what you're hearing? Then make sure to subscribe on iTunes and YouTube. Stay tuned to next week's episode from the Agency Podcast.